Hello to you once again. The Section 22 Ad Hoc Committee for a Christian sector says that progress has been made in addressing abuses and harmful practices within the Christian religious space. While speaking after a media briefing on Friday, the committee outlined steps to promote accountability and self-regulation, including the development of a framework proposing an independent Christian practice council for ethics and accountability to certify organizations that meet set standards. For more of this now, we're joined by Dr John Maloma, who is a member of the Section 22 Ad Hoc Committee for the Christian sector. Doctor, a very good morning to you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Doctor, let's talk about, first of all, what led to these discussions, first of all, taking place. In the intro that I read, it spoke about progress being made in addressing abuses and harmful practices, in particular in the Christian religious space. Talk to us a bit about that and what first raised the alarm bells to get us to this point where we need to have this discussion.
Yeah. Good morning, Crystal and the viewers. As Christians and leaders would remember, the discussions around these issues started around 2014-15 when CRL commissioned an investigation into abuses that were taking place in the churches. CRL then made a report, a recommendation to Parliament for a peer review mechanism, which was viewed as being intrusive in that it was nuanced as though the state wants to control churches. Now, 2018, the Portfolio Committee of Parliament recommended, in fact, set aside the recommendations by CRL, and then they recommended rather that religious sector must self-regulate and then produce a code of conduct. So we have moved thus far to this point where we are now in a position to, as a Section 22 committee, establish in terms of the CRL Act, to then begin to engage with our own sector in terms of how do we then frame this code of conduct, how do we then frame this self-regulating system that we envisage.
And I mean, Doctor, setting up that code of conduct and to ensure that, it restores some of the credibility and the integrity of the religion, what shape or form do you as, Section 22 members believe it should take? Not to seem as if, one is trying to police, if I can, the Christian community.
Yeah, Casilda, if you look at the document that we released yesterday, which is actually not a final document, which is not prescriptive, we simply drew a document that we believe will guide our interactions, our consultation processes with our stakeholders. We have outlined things that a code of conduct should include. But basically, if you read that document, the code of conduct will be expected from member churches, that every church in South Africa should develop its own code of conduct, should have its own constitution, should have a framework on how they comply with the laws, and many other things. And then once they meet those criteria, then they would submit those to a Christian practice council. So there's nothing prescribed, there's no policing of anyone, and there will be no policing of anyone because we will be self-regulating. We are envisaging a professional body for Christian churches and practitioners. So that's where we are going. So we have not prescribed anything, but we could not go to the people without anything in our hands. Hence, we drew up a document to say, engage with the document. We are going to go out the country and engage with everybody. People are free to can make inputs, to criticize, subtract or whatever, but we'll debate, and then at the end of the process, we hope through a thorough consultative process, we'll come up with a document that will lead to a very solid Christian Practice Council for Ethics and Accountability.
Doctor, if you could talk to us about some of what is contained in that document. Apologies, I'd not had privy to that document after your press conference, but some of the salient points that you make that you believe would be able to restore, the integrity of the Christian faith, of course, talking about this code of conduct.
Yeah. First of all, Griselda, in that document, we give a preamble which covers the rationale behind this document. Then we give a background which gives us the terms of reference. And I think that will be helpful because people are imagining things that we don't know about. Because as a committee, we say we are a voluntary group of church leaders who came together in order to develop our own thing without anybody influencing us. So in the document, we give the background in terms of how were we instituted, what are the terms of reference, and then we also summarize the problem statement to say to the churches, the problems in the churches continue to persist, even beyond the report that was done 2017. They continue to persist. We still see victims of abuse in the church being neglected, being unseen, whereas the powerful who are abusers are protected. They can drag the cases in court, and then at the same time, those who are victimized, they continuously continue to be victimized. And then we give principles, guiding principles, what should be contained in the code of conduct. Things like accountability,
yes,
transparency, service, consideration, autonomy, and responsibility. And I don't think anybody can argue against those. Then the code will be the council will be based on three pillars: internal governance and accountability. So we are calling churches to have self-governing systems and tools in place, which includes, among others, the constitution, financial accountability. We also look briefly into even churches that are founded by foreign nationals in this country, which seems to be just happening haphazardly with no one paying attention to it. And in the code of ethics itself and professional conduct, we are suggesting to churches there what should be contained in their code of conduct, and then the legal and regulatory compliances that we expect churches to comply to, and then the implementation of the framework. Then that will be the Christian Practice Council for Ethics and Accountability, which is something that will come long after the consultation process has concluded, and it will be shaped by all the inputs from all the stakeholders in our sector.
And I think, Doctor, do you think this will help in addressing some of the concerns that have been raised, including what you just briefly spoke about? You have a situation where anyone, willy-nilly, who wants to open a church, just opens one wherever, goes and gets a tent, places it there, and, lures people to, these establishments. And in some cases, we've seen it's not even following the Christian faith. It's a money-making scheme. There are all sorts of abuses that are taking place there. And unfortunately, there are people who fall for, I don't think I'd be wrong to say, to call those scams.
Yeah, exactly, Griselda. This is a groundbreaking process for the church in South Africa post-democratic dispensation. Indeed, it will cap those kind of practices because for one to operate a church, you'll need to register one way or the other, have a constitution that guarantees proper and sound governance. So that will cap anyone coming from anywhere, deciding that I can't find a job, let me just start something on the corner, perhaps I'll get some income, and those kind of practices. And I think some of those who are in that space, they fear what this might mean. But if you are a Christian leader with ethical and integrity outlook towards your calling, I don't see how you would oppose this kind of a move, because this is meant to empower even a one-man ministry somewhere. It's not meant to punish anybody, but it's meant to say, let's self-correct, let's determine our own ethical standards, which the law cannot necessarily cover.
Dr. John, thank you very much indeed. Quite an opportune time to have this conversation. We do appreciate your time here on SABC News. Dr. John Maloma, who is a member of the Section 22 Ad Hoc Committee for the Christian sector.